great day. What? No! This is a porch swing, not a bird perch. Look at that! Looks like a bird party where they didn't like the food. Can't have that happen. I think I've got an idea on how to fix this. They get up here and just sit and get way too comfortable. I noticed this feature here and here, which will allow me to put something in place. Here's a design I put in place last year on my mailbox to keep birds from pooping here, and you can see it's been working great. This little guy right here and this wire here. So that's about the right height. I'm thinking it's just about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Maybe a little higher than that, 2.5 inches. They perched over here, so I came up with this little black clip with a couple little pieces of wire there, and they've not been back. So this guy's working pretty good right here. So I'm going to use this technique, only I'm going to use fishing line instead of wire because of the swing. If you're interested in this mailbox wire design to keep birds off, I'll post it up there somewhere and down below. There's an eye hook here and an eye hook down here. And all along here is fishing line and no bird poo or little things from squirrels. It keeps both of them off. So if you're interested in this video on how to protect your railing from bird poop and all sorts of surprises from animals, I'll post it up there, one of those places, and down below. This design has to meet several criteria. One, it's got to be reversible. It's not going to be a permanent installation on the swing. It's got to be lightweight and out of the way. Number 3, it has to be safe. The last thing you want to do is have something sticking up so that somebody is sitting there and then he goes back into that and impales himself. Lots of blood and dead. So you don't want that to happen. You want them to enjoy the swing. And, of course, with most of my builds, low cost. Like many designs and feats of engineering, this one started off on the back of an envelope. I actually traced around the side of the swing, got that one, came in here, and I was going to use a piece of plywood, lay the pattern on there, cut it out with a jigsaw, and who wants to do that? Basically came up with this concept using a 3/4 inch by 2 inch piece of cedar and cut it out. If you remember, the swing is at an angle and then this is the top, and I'm going to use some sort of eye hooks. Now, if you can't find these, and these are 1/4 inch, 2.5 inch long eye hooks, the thought being that I would bury 1/2 inch inside the wood from the top. I'm going to put these vertical holes in here for cable ties. And I've got these hooks. They've got that corkscrew pattern that's going to stay in wood a lot better than these. Although those will probably do fine with a wrench, and just come down here like this and squeeze it off. You've got kind of an eye hook, more of an oval hook. For some reason these are a lot more available than these, and that's a little over 2.5 inches. Between the two boards I have 2 holes that line up with those, and just vertical holes through the board, and that's a 13/64 inch drill, and the whole idea of that is it's just big enough to pass a cable tie through. The dimensions on this is 4 inches, 2 inches, and 3/4 inches. So for this one I want to go down 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it vertically. I'm going to come in here like this. I've got a little flag on my drill bit, and this drill bit is just big enough so that this post passes through, but the screw grooves will bite into the wood. Go ahead, there you go. Swipe it right off. And do the same for this side. And I'm just eyeballing it, trying to make it as vertical as possible. Makes for a mess, but the flag does tell you exactly how far you need to go in. And that's level with the top board of the swing. Here's one I've already done. You can see the holes on both sides. So this is a set, one on each side of the swing or bench. I've marked I and I for inside. This is where it's going to match up with the side of the swing. So you just take this and start screwing it in by hand. And then once you can't do that anymore, you screwdriver and just push it in like this. 1 7/8. So that's what I want this guy to be. And I want these hook things, because of the safety component, I want those on the outside so that the fishing line doesn't slide out. And that's where I'm going to tie it off, as you'll see later. Let's measure that and see if we're at 1 7/8. Amazingly enough. And those things are really in solid. Because of the thinness of the wood, you really want to pre-drill the hole so that you don't risk a chance of splitting the wood. As with all my builds, I'll post all the materials down below. This is 50-pound Zebco Omniflex high strength line, and I get 150 yards. You can get it for a couple bucks in a big box store, maybe a little more expensive in Amazon unless it's on sale. So I ended up clear coating these. It's cedar and it would probably be okay, but I wanted to retain the color as much as possible. Now I'm going to get my giant box of cable ties. We're going to go outside and set it all up on the swing so that the birds can be contained. I decided to take the swing off the porch so it would be easier for me to do this, but also to show you what was going on. I've decided on 11-inch black cable ties, and these are good for 45 pounds, but realistically, if you get a solid cable tie, it could be upwards to 90 pounds. I also have this finishing tool for cable ties. It's great. I'll post it down below if you're interested. Also, this flush cut tool works great if you don't want to invest in one of these. But if you're doing a lot of cable tie work, this is the way to go. And if you don't want to do either one of these, you can use a regular pair of scissors. So I've got the little nub running around here and I've fed it through. And you can make adjustments on this even after they're tight. So you run the cable tie with the ridged end through it like this. You let the tool do all the work. You can move it where you want to finish and then pop it off, and it's a nice flush cut. Sometimes cable ties can get really sharp and hurt you if there's a little bit showing right here. And then I can just adjust this to exactly where I want it, which is right about there. So you can see this is kind of rough looking. That's one of the reasons why I wanted it reversible, because I'm going to finish this off when I get a chance sometime this summer. So you just hold it in place like this, get this guy to go through, and I'm just putting the nub again, what I call the nub, this little piece here. Put it in place. So much craziness going on today. Here's another angle with this tool. Hold it, pop it right off. Now it's just a matter of running line to both ends. You start at one end and you tie it off. You can see I several times around the post here, and I've done that one. And then I've run it all the way down to this side. And you want it bouncy so that if the birds come in and they don't see it, it will make them uncomfortable and they'll fly away. Kind of like I've done with my mailbox down there. Stuck a screwdriver in here and just make this tighter. Okay, so lots of knots on this side, lots of similar knots on this side. A tail on both cases, run through the eye like this in case you need to add some more knots. So you want it kind of like, hopefully you can hear that. And then if for some reason like this, it's just not tight enough, that's pretty good, but I'm just going to take and turn it this way and reduce the distance downrange. If you get bored on the swing, you can always play the 2-string guitar. You can do it on the reverse side if you want to center the strings. This also allows you to move the strings 1/4 of an inch one way or the other in order to center it right in the area where they like to perch. You may be tempted to use just one string going across instead of two, but there's such a flat area here, and based on how they were doing their stuff, it's just too much area for them to play with. If you put it here, they could perch here. If you put it here, they could perch there. If you tried to go to the center, they'd have just enough on either side, I've learned from my railing, to perch. So in this case, 2 strings is the answer. It's safe, cheap, reversible, doesn't hurt somebody who's on it. You can actually put your arm down here. It'd be very comfortable. Take it off, and the bird fence is in effect. Real happy with how this design turned out. Started out complicated, got it down to a couple cuts with 2 pieces of wood, a couple eyes that I made because I couldn't find eyes long enough, and some 50-pound fishing line. Probably cost me about $4 or $5. Thumbs up and comments, always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in home repairs, home design challenges, how to work with nature, making and breaking stuff, designs of all kinds, including sports gear, photography equipment. I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe because you never know what you're gonna see.